Yeah. Ow! Yeah. Y'all think too small, I got big dreams. You just starting, I'm way ahead at the end scenes. Started reading and dodging all of the quick schemes. Money like your Spotify, boy, I got 10 streams. And I'm still looking for more. My people, they got a soar, I'm putting that on the Lord. Ain't accepting, ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it, just the odds is real big. Jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big.
So let's talk about, I guess, you growing up. Are you born and raised in Florida? Did you? Nope. I knew you weren't, but I just go ahead and you tell everybody how you ended up where you were born and all that.
So I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, and that's where a lot of my family is, like half of it. And then like after like 2 weeks, my parents drove back up to Chicago because we were on vacation when they had me. And so I was raised in Chicago. And, you know, if you ask me where I'm from, I'm never going to say Florida or Orlando. I'm always going to say Chicago because that's just how it is up there. Yeah, you know, my parents, you know, my dad had a job opportunity down here because he had finished playing basketball and got back into civil engineering. And then they felt that it would be better to bring me down to Florida right before high school because I had better opportunities to get places, you know, because they had a vision for me and pretty much I just had to put the plan in motion. So I moved to Florida about 6th grade and into 6th grade. And I started playing basketball and all that down here because I was always playing basketball. So I started playing for the #1 basketball program in the country. And then played football once in 7th grade, got hit, quit it immediately, was not playing any games. And then my freshman year, my mom forced me to play football. Like, I literally cried because I didn't want to play football. I was so scared. Mind you, I was 6'4", about like 285, 290 at the time. I was scared to play football. And I went to the field. I told the coach I was a receiver. He told me to leave the practice.
He told you to leave?
Yeah, because I played receiver in Little League when I was in 7th grade. And I didn't know, like, I was like, wow, the kid's so small. And I'm 6'4", about 290. Walking into high school, talking about I'll play receiver. And I was backup D tackle for the first 3 weeks of the season. And then they moved me to left tackle because people got hurt. Finished the season at left tackle, and then I just blew up from there after that.
Payton Kirkland was born on September 8, 2004, son of Veronica Luckett. He also has 2 older sisters, Taylor and Bobby. His sister Bobby is a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. Payton also has 2 nieces. His uncle, Perry Harrington, was a running back who played at Jackson State University and was selected in the 2nd round of the 1980 NFL Draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. He played his first season of high school football with the West Orange Warriors, where he played offensive and defensive tackle as a freshman before continuing his athletic and academic journeys at Dr. Phillips High School under head coach Rodney Wells.
Can you talk about your high school program? And then I want to follow up with you brought up Trent Williams, and Oklahoma fans here is just, instantly perked up. They're like, whoa, he trains with Trent Williams, or Trent Williams helps him, talk about that relationship that you have there with both so talk about the expectations at Dr. Phillips and kind of the coaching staff there and how they've helped you along the way, and then jump into Trent Williams and how that relationship spurned and how that's helped you throughout your high school career as well.
Right. So at Dr. Phillips, the first thing you'll like get taught as a player is this goes for everybody at our school. Our slogan at our school is never less than the best. if you're not giving us your best, if you're not being the best at all times, then there's no reason you should be at Dr. Phillips High School. Coach Rodney Wells and Coach Sitter, those are my guys. You know, Coach Sitter's my offensive line coach. Coach Wells is my head coach. Coach Wells lit out for me and my mom at a time when we felt nobody else was helping us. We were at a terrible place in our lives, homeless, nowhere to stay, and all of that, right before high school started. And with that being said, it's more than just a powerhouse football program and athletic school. You know, it's a brotherhood, it's a family there, from the top of the staff to the janitors. You know, like I literally know all the janitors by name at Dr. Phillips High School. And when it comes down to the football aspect of it, if you're out there to just have fun and be a part of a football team, you can't be on the team. That's just what it is. It's like the way we practice is so intense, the way we play is so intense. It's like we're never gonna get beat physically, ever. That's just not gonna happen. And a lot of the times, if you see Dr. Phillips lose a game, it's because of leadership or mental mistakes. You feel me? It's never because of we got out physical or they were just better than us. Nah. We've never lost because of somebody else. We've always lost because of ourselves. And, you know, in all honesty, I feel like Coach Wells, after Coach Wells done with high school coaching, he'll probably go be a college coach somewhere too, because Coach Wells is a mastermind. Coach Wells is a genius. You see what he's done for this program, coaching these last 20 years, you know? Took them 3 state championships in a row. And then Adam Sitter, our offensive line coach, he was the assistant offensive line coach at Florida when they won a national championship. He was there for 4 years, I think. And then he went to be Kansas interim offensive line coach and then assistant offensive line coach. And then he was assistant offensive line coach for the Patriots for a couple of years too. And by the grace of God, he came back to be our offensive line coach because he has small babies, you know? So Coach Sitter could easily go be an offensive line coach somewhere like Colorado State or somewhere like that right now, you know? He's gotten offered the Jacksonville assistant offensive line coach job, Vikings assistant offensive line coach job, and he turned from down. So that's just a blessing to have him there because he's preparing me to go play college ball before I even get there. So I'm gonna walk in the car. I'm not gonna be behind in the mental aspect of it. Yeah, I gotta learn the playbook, but everything is when it comes down to football and offensive lines, it's all the same. In all honesty, it's what I've noticed. It's all the same. Just coaches have their own different terminology. That's it. On top of that, me having access to Trent Williams and being able to speak with him all the time because, you know, he reached out to my mom and, you know, he said he likes how I play and he sees a lot of himself within me. And, you know, my mom's name is Veronica. His mom's name is Veronica. They've hit it off too. And,
that's cool.
You know, we'll FaceTime. He'll send me clips and stuff and clips to watch and he'll critique my film and things of that sort, teach me a few things about pass pro and run game and just about the mental aspect of the game. And that's like my big brother right now. So, you know, I mean, it's one of the only NFL players that I have a relationship with and just so happen to be my favorite player. So,
after his first football season at Dr. Phillips High School, Payton Kirkland had already received nearly 40 offers from different colleges. He ended with over 50 college offers, the first being from Arizona State University. On September 8th, 2020, he received his first dual sport offer from Kansas State University for basketball and football. In high school, he was an All-America and All-Metro honoree, selected to participate in the 2023 All-American Bowl, and was appointed the East Team captain. He was named the number 209 recruit nationally and to the top 300 All-American team by PrepStar. Chosen All-Metro Orlando in 2022, played all 5 positions on the offensive line during his senior season, but was primarily at tackle. Helped Dr. Phillips to 369 total yards, including 173 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns against Timber Creek. Part of 3 consecutive wins against Windermere, Boone, and Lake Nona. Blocked for 4 passing touchdowns against Windermere. Helped the offense rush for 5 rushing touchdowns and 246 passing yards against Boone. Paved the way for a season-high 247 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns against Lake Nona. Helped clear the way for a season-high 274 passing yards and 3 passing touchdowns against Ocoee. Chosen to the Max Preps Junior All-American Second Team in 2021, worked primarily at left tackle, part of a 49-0 shutout against Celebration. Anchored an offense that scored 62 points against Windermere. Helped Dr. Phillips to a 3-2 district record in 2021. Selected to the Max Prep Sophomore All-America team, first team in 2020. Part of an offense that scored 35 or more points 4 times, capped by a 50-point performance against Windermere. Helped the offense score 5 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns, along with 243 rushing yards against Windermere. Helped Dr. Phillips to a 5-3 overall record and made the 8A state playoffs in a shortened 2020 season. Part of an offense that scored 35 or more points in 5 consecutive games as a freshman. Blocked for an offense that scored 47 points against East Ridge and 42 against Windermere and Oak Ridge. Helped Dr. Phillips to a 9-3 overall record, including a 2-0 district mark and an appearance in the 8A regional semifinals in 2019.
Payton Kirkland, class of 2023 offensive lineman out of Dr. Phillips High School, 4 stars. I won the offensive line MVP today. Blessed to be in this position. Thank God.
Ryan Rivera here with Rivals, here with 4-star offensive tackle Payton Kirkland. So Payton, why are you ready to announce?
Well, I've been going through this process for about 4 years now, since 8th grade, and God blessed me with the opportunity to go to a lot of places, and it's been tough from the start to the finish. It's been a roller coaster ride. I've been locked in with a couple places, and coaching staff changes, things work themselves in certain ways, and I've always told my mom, God will reveal, God works in mysterious ways. So it's boiling down to these last 5 schools, and I'm very ready to announce, get back with my teammates and be a true leader, and I want to walk into my senior season with security.
Let's start off with Florida and how you feel about them.
Well, the University of Florida, they've always made me feel like a priority from the start to the finish, even with the last staff. And, Coach Napier and his staff, they're doing a good job of reaching out to the kids, trying to win the op-4 battle. And from an offensive line standpoint, they have developed one of the best offensive line units over the past 3 years. And, I'm hoping they can do the same thing there.
And let's talk about Alabama and how they kept a close relationship with you.
Well, me and Coach Wolford, we were always tight when he was at Kentucky, and when Alabama offered me, he had just got there, and we kind of hit the ground running, and he's always kept in straight communication with me. And Coach Holman Wiggins is my primary recruiter, and Coach Saban's very upfront with me and my mom about his plan for us.
And let's talk about Michigan State.
Well, with Michigan State, they have it's a very large population of black people within their staff, and it's majority black, and the head coach is a black man, and he really does have those guys up there working a lot, and he's more about developing guys off the field and then that translating to the field.
And then let's go down south to Miami.
Well, the University of Miami, that's the crib. They've always been huge on me, regardless of what anybody says. Miami's always been there for me in my recruitment process, and Coach Cristobal and Mirabal are probably the best 2 guys to do it for offensive line recruitment and offensive line development.
And let's talk about the last school you got on the list.
Well, University of Oklahoma, they've been very consistent. They've kind of been Mr. Consistent throughout my recruitment process from the start to the finish, because they never really, recruit out of state like that or out their region, and, it's kind of huge for me to be considering Oklahoma right now.
Thank you, Payton.
Payton Kirkland, one of the nation's top offensive linemen. He's going to join us momentarily to announce his college commitment. And if you haven't heard about PK, as they call him, he is a prospect that has been on the national recruiting scene for well over 3 years, listed at 6'6", 345 pounds. You'll see right here, this is a power-based player, a guy that can get to the second level, a guy that knows what he's doing, a guy that plays through the whistles. Florida, Miami, Michigan State, Oklahoma, Alabama, the 5 finalists for Mr. Kirkland. He visited all 5 of those schools in the month of June. He's ready to make his college commitment, let the world know where he's headed, and someone's getting an offensive lineman that potentially could be a multi-year starter at the Power 5 level. Joined now by the man of the moment, Payton Kirkland. Payton is a kid that I first was introduced 2-3 years ago. Since then, he's picked up over 50 scholarship offers from programs around the country. Payton, man, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Blessed to be here.
Let's talk about this recruiting process. How wild has it been? How many schools have you been to? How stressful has it been just going through, being an emerging freshman on varsity to a guy that everyone in the country essentially wants?
Well, from the start to the finish, it was pretty hectic, and it's just about how you handle it. God put me in a position, and He gave me the tools to be able to handle it, especially with my mother. And it's hectic to a certain extent. It's all about control.
Let's talk about mom. She's sitting there right there next to you. I know she went on all these visits. What are your two kind of, not deciding factors, but what was important for you guys when you embarked on this journey? What were some of the things you were looking for in certain schools?
Both of us were looking for different things, so we made a good team, if you want to say that. But I was looking for, I'm a people person, so I'm looking into relationship, and I'm looking into community, what's happening outside of the community. I like tradition. Does the school have tradition? What is that tradition? What, who came from that school, and what kind of programs they had to offer? Because at some point, he's blessed to have 70 offers from all great schools. It's not one bad one. And so, it's hard to choose between the two. So really, to me, it came down to relationships and how I thought my son would be treated, and what kind of man he'll come out as,
Payton, I'm going to toss this back to you. We're going to get to your commitment here in a second. Just tell me, what is this lucky school going to be getting out of you? You got the top 5, right? We got Miami in there. We got Oklahoma in there. We got Florida in there. We got Alabama in there. What is a school going to be getting in you?
A true leader, not just on the field, but off the field. I feel like people can gravitate towards me because of the way I put myself out there, the way I portray myself. I kind of would be like a coach's pet, if you want to say. And, I'm always going to work hard and, put others before myself and make the sacrifices necessary to get to the national championship.
One final one. You're wearing a shirt. We can't see the full thing, but I know it says School of Hard Blocks. Tell me, what's the backstory on that?
Well, it kind of started with my mom and my aunt. They were just talking, and, they came up with School of Hard Blocks for a different purpose. But, I kind of wanted to put my own twist on it. So, School of Hard Blocks, so much my brand, shop at PaytonKirkland.com.
Okay. Well, now that we got that out of the way, your moment, you tell us where you plan to spend the next few years in college and further your academic and athletic education.
Well, after hard prayer, long thought, me and my mom, we've been through a lot together, and, this is my superhero right here. And she's really made a way out of no way time and time again. And I'm blessed to even be in this position to be able to even say that I'm attending the university for 4 years free of charge. So for the next 3 to 4 years, I will be attending.
Texas.
Well, there you have it, the Texas Longhorns. I don't think anyone really had kind of billed them as a player in your recruitment a few weeks ago. Obviously, they have Arch Manning, the nation's #1 recruit, Steve Sarkisian there. But I think it's another coach that you are super close with, Kyle Flood, the O-line coach. Just tell me about Texas. Why them?
Well, they were always the dark horse in my relationship. And it wasn't even just Texas. It was, Sark and Flood when they were at Texas and, at Alabama. And when I was going through a hard time and I couldn't even play football at the time, Coach Flood believed in my abilities, and he kept recruiting me throughout the entire way. And I really do appreciate that from them, and they were always honest and upfront. They never let off the gas pedal for me.
I know a question a lot of people are going to ask, Texas headed to the SEC. Did that play a factor in this, or is this more about the people and just what they're trying to build in Austin?
It was more about the people, but it's time to compete.
Arch Manning, you're going to play with him. I mean, you're going to get this question, I think, for the next 4 or 5 years. Have you seen him play before? Do you know much about him? What do you think about potentially blocking his blind side one day?
I mean, well, me and Arch, we usually talk like once a week and, just regular check-ins on each other. We FaceTime every now and then, once every couple months, because, we're both pretty busy and all of that. But, it's a great opportunity to, be able to have the best protecting the best. So.
And I asked you to scout yourself already, but, just what are your goals and what are you expecting to do when you put on that UT uniform over the next few years?
Not just me personally, but this class of 2023, I want to leave our mark on that program. It's a program that's on the rise right now, and, it already has a built-in culture, and we're just here to carry on the torch.
Well, there you have it. Payton Kirkland, one of the top offensive linemen, not only in the state of Florida, in the entire country. He is headed to Texas, and a bit of a surprise here. Longhorns were not mentioned as much of a contender. Many people thought it might be Miami, maybe Florida, Alabama, but no, he is going to play for Steve Sarkisian. Thank you, Payton, for joining us, and good luck on your journey. And thanks again from 24/7 Sports.
Anwar, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, last year around this time, you were really concerned about your offensive line depth, so much to the point that you kind of altered the spring game for that just because you didn't want guys to get hurt and so on and so forth. A year later, where are we as far as that depth is concerned? Can you talk about, I know you mentioned DJ Campbell and Cam, but some of the other young guys and how they're developing? And also, will you go back to that traditional spring game format this year?
Yeah. I feel a lot better about the depth on the offensive line. Just sheer numbers alone, the last 2 years, we signed 12 offensive linemen, right? So just from a sheer numbers perspective, definitely feel more comfortable there. I think it is a talented group. They're obviously big, but the one thing that they're going through is the growing pains of being young players, and learning the fundamentals of techniques to go along with the scheme, and then trying to block good players on the other side of the ball. And as they're working themselves through it, you take the small victories and then you try to build off of those small victories and keep getting better and better and better. But other guys that have shown things that, again, we're returning 5 starters. With Cole being out this spring, it's created some opportunities for some other players. But you look at a NATO, who to me is showing growth throughout spring. You look at a Malik Ogbo, who's showing growth throughout spring. Looking at some of the younger players that are just arrived, I think that, whether it's a Connor Stroh or a Andre Kojo or a Payton Kirkland and some of these other younger players that are in here now too. And I hate leaving all these guys out. They're all making progress. The key to the drill is trying to find ways where they can continue to build their confidence. Because if we just throw it all on them and throw them out there and they don't ever have any success, that ultimately can start to affect the psyche. But from a sheer number standpoint, definitely feel much better about it. Do we need to continue to improve to build that room to where, man, you feel comfortable about whether it's the first unit, the second unit, or the third unit, for them to go out and play at a high level? No question. But it does allow us, hopefully here in a couple weeks when we do play the spring game, to have a true game. I think everybody would prefer that, and let the guys go compete and keep score and all that kind of good stuff. So right now, that's what the signs are pointing to. But I always hold reservation, because you never know what can happen over the next 2 weeks. Knock on wood, we stay healthy and we continue to get players back to where we can have a fun day on the 15th.
When you first got here, you had some good frontline players. There was hardly any depth. What does it look like now?
Well, I mean, I look at us now. Let's take the offensive line, for example. We're 17 deep. Obviously, with Kelvin and Christian back at tackle, that's great. But we have some young tackles that are on the come. DJ Campbell at guard. Cam Williams is working at guard. NATO's working at guard. Cole Hudson will get that work in. Malik Ogbo. So it's a talented group. We've signed 12 linemen the last 2 years. That creates the depth. Not to mention, we're returning all 5 starters off of last year's team. And so all of a sudden now, you can look at a player and look at him from a developmental standpoint. You can look at another player and say, hey, that guy's going to push for a starting job, so that your starters don't get comfortable. And that's what depth provides you. It provides competition. Through competition, everybody should get better.
And now you're in college. You're at Texas. You've been practicing. You've been what's that? Fall or spring practice?
It was spring ball.
Yeah, spring ball. All right. So let us know. What were you nervous when your first week of practice on campus at Texas? That's a top Division I football program, man.
Well, are we talking like the first week of practice or the first week of like school?
Both.
Well, it's in the first week of school. You get out there.
I was nervous.
January?
I was nervous. Yeah, it was the day after the All-American Bowl.
Okay.
Just drove up from San Antonio, and my family moved me in, and after about an hour and a half, I sent them on their way. I was ready to have my own space to myself. And I was nervous for like my first days and all that, but like I gave it like a month. And I started getting used to the environment because we were doing the same thing every day.
Right.
And then spring ball started creeping up on us, and I'm like, all right, like, it's about to get crazy. Like, these grown ass men.
Yeah.
Like I got 26-year-old on my team. You feel me? Like,
for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
He in my offensive line group.
Oh damn.
And it's like it was about to get crazy. So I was a little bit nervous at first, and I feel like, if you're not nervous about when it comes down to sports, if you're not nervous, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
You know? And it was more like anxiousness than nervousness, Just anxious to learn, anxious to pick up on information, and, anxious to soak in everything that they was telling me. And it was a huge adjustment for me, In all fairness, I had a rough spring ball coming in. I was heavy. I reported to school at about 375. I was heavy. Wow. And, by the time spring ball started, I was about 355.
Really? Okay.
And in the spring, I finished spring ball around like 340, 338.
Did they give you a target weight, or you just knew like in order to play?
I know how I like to feel when I'm playing football.
Okay.
And they agreed with my decision. You know what I'm saying? And they've done that. They told me when I came in, like, hey, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I feel like that was probably one of the biggest things that I felt that they appreciated about me, was that I came in ready to work and I knew what I had to work on. And started spring ball, it was slow for me. I wasn't picking up on it as much, and it just felt like it was too much. College ball is very fast. It's a lot of plays. It's a lot of people screaming. It's a lot of it's a whole lot of everything. The practice, you're tired from start to finish, and there's no way around it.
Right.
And my first the first week of spring ball, since we didn't have on pads, it was kind of awkward, but I was definitely getting fussed at, getting cussed out for not knowing my plays and all that. And, my first day of practice, I was in with the twos.
Oh, okay.
First week? Oh, yeah?
My very first day of practice, I was in at left tackle with the twos. And I get out there, I line up. They making calls. This sound like Spanish to me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, what are we doing? Like, what am I tap my guard, like, what am I supposed to do? He look at me like I'm crazy, like what you mean? And yeah, it took a while, you know. Over the course of spring ball, I learned a lot about myself and a lot about how I maneuver through space, and like it's certain things that you really wouldn't pick up on playing high school ball when you get to college. I swear, I thought I was just gonna come in and, you know, I was just gonna have it all from day one, but it's not like that, you know. It's reality really does hit you when you get there.
I was gonna say like for somebody who's as physically gifted and talented as you are playing in high school, you really don't have too many guys that are really a match for you. And now you get to the college setting, and there's probably a lot more physical dudes that are present different challenges for you.
Right. I mean, I'm competing every day.
Yeah.
At school, like, and when I mean I'm competing every day, it means classroom, on the field, nutrition, film room, everything.
Gotcha.
So when I get out there on the field and I line up and I got Tavondre Sweat in front of me and he's 6'5", 360, you know what I'm saying?
Good grief.
On the other side of the ball, moving like he 285, you know, it's you know, you get to thinking like, all right, like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? You feel me? I'm fresh out of high school. I got a first round D tackle sitting in front of me, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like I really do want to thank my coaches, though, you know, even though they're very hard on me, and I mean very hard on me, because I mean, you know, they had high expectations for me, and I appreciate them for that. And it worked out for me very well. Towards the end of spring ball, it's like the day before the spring game, it's just like everything finally came together.
Really?
Like the day before, like the week leading up to the spring game, I was nervous as hell. I was like, all right, bro, I don't even know if I'm about to do good, but I feel confident about it, but I don't know what's going to happen. Right. And that day before, the walk through the day before, it's just like everything just came together. Like, all right, it's football. It's what you do. You gotten stronger, smaller, faster since you've been at school, and smarter. Put it all into one, go out there and play ball. You know, so everything kind of just brought itself together. I'm talking about plays and everything, techniques and everything. And, you know, what got me over the hump was learning that my coaches, especially my position coach, it's a certain way that they want the things done. And the best way to have success within the program is doing the things the way that the coaches want it done. Not how you see fit, how they see fit, because it's a reason why they see that, you know. And you know, I really did. It took a few weeks for me to actually trust my O-line coach, you know, like, but I eventually gave into it, you know, and it worked out for me in the best way.
Yes.
Payton Kirkland did not see any game action in 2023 and redshirted. He has 4 years of eligibility remaining.